So Nate, you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, I got one locked and loaded here. I was putting a bunch down, and this one came like kept recurring because it was such a formative live album for me. Where I was like, okay, I love live music, and I need to check out more. And it was kind of a driver for that. So this album dropped in 1998. So a 90s OG. We're in eighth grade, and I'm discovering music, but not necessarily the live part of it. And I think this is kind of what put me in that direction a little bit more. Spearheaded that a little bit more. So 311 Live 1998 was quintessential for me. I can't remember who introduced this to me. I want to say his name was Ian, one of our friends' brothers. Got me into a lot of live music from live bootlegs. And this isn't necessarily a bootleg. It is a record label pressing, I believe on Capricorn at the time, which is no longer a label. But fantastic live rendition of their songs. It really captivates what they do, what translates in their live show, which I've seen them. I don't have the database to one, but I've seen them probably 15 times. So this spearheaded that effort to see them as much as possible. And I just loved it. And I was like such a young buck, you know what I mean? Like hearing these songs, hearing their vibe, like translate from the albums to this, I was like, oh, this is what it must be like to see them in concert. They're very interactive. Chad Sexton, one of my favorite drummers of all time. It's got a, almost 3 minute solo in here.
Yeah, Applied Science, right?
Yep, Applied Science, exactly. And this is one of those albums that I did keep in my car, and I think I wore this out so much that it like stopped playing correctly. Like I just wore it thin.
All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot, Nate. What was the actual CD? Do you remember?
What do you mean? Oh, the name?
No, the image of like the actual CD. Do you remember what was on it?
Oh yeah, no, it's like this really cool artwork, like actually really cool poster that I always wanted. Artwork of some like sketchy like music industry guy in the
Well,
front.
no, the actual disc. Do you remember?
Oh, the disc? No, I don't know.
If I'm remembering correctly, it was that cartoon character's like mouth with the teeth.
I think you're
I
right.
think you're right. Yeah.
We can story it or something because I have the CD upstairs. But I remember that like his mouth was open. I think. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, very charismatic artwork for this album. But I remember it's funny you bring up the artwork because the album cover artwork is like everything we know about the music industry today. Like there's a guy like telling you here you go to the show. It's like that that guy is like the Live Nation guy. You know what I mean? He's like, I just took all your money. Enjoy
like
the
the
show.
evil magician looking dude or the devil or
Yes,
whatever.
exactly.
They did for a long time. Did they do 311 Day in New Orleans?
Yes.
That has New Orleans vibes to me. The cover.
Yes. Yep.
Yep. Well, a lot of the songs were recorded in New Orleans.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I mean, it's a place that they were using for 311 Day, which is this massive concert event that they'd done a long time on March 11th for many years, different places all over the world. But New Orleans was kind of one of the first places they made their home as far as that went. So I bet this was their kind of homage to New Orleans, being that album art was their homage to that.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it was actually recorded on September 17th, September 17th, 1997.
Yep.
Released on November 3rd, 1998 at the UNO Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana, which is where they do 311 Day every year, or they did for a while. I think they moved it to Vegas for a while.
Yeah, they did Vegas this past year, right as the world was ending, as the lockdown started, and we were a little critical, not critical, but we were like, guys, could this be a super spreader?
Yeah.
This record is awesome. I love this record growing up. I'm with you, Nate. It was a record listened to all the time, especially, I mean, our friendship dates, our like close friendship, I would say, dates back to junior year of high school when we all had lockers really close to each other. And a lot of our time was spent shooting the shit in between class about music or trading CDs or going, hey, where are we going after school to listen to music and hang out and do whatever? Because that's what we did. And this band was the band for me anyway at that time. And I think it was for you guys too. Yeah. Like you guys introduced me to them through this kind of, bromance of music that we have. So I just love it. It's great. Applied Science, that drum solo, but I can hear it now. I haven't listened to this record in years. I can hear it in my head right now. So it's definitely ingrained in my my DNA.
And I'm going to be kind of a hater, but put a spin on it. This was a great time for this to come out because it was before a lot of the stuff not to diss 311, but there were some duds near the end, and they had a great, I think we said 6 album run. This was maybe actually, you know what, this might be a little too early to get so this misses Sound System era. This was before that, but this was a good time.
Sound System and Mrs. From Chaos. Those two would probably be the two that I would want more of on this.
Yeah, and they were touring off of Transistor on this album. Yeah, because Beautiful Disaster's in there. Yeah, but I'd rather have this then than have it in 2021, just because I don't know if I would. I don't know how much old stuff they still play.
Yeah, and pre-Sound System and From Chaos, like listening to the album again today, I was like, they were already like mega huge in their own right. Even I guess this is an arena show, but they were playing theaters for the most part for this leg, I think. And they were already on top of the world for just their craft, So the fact they put out 2 other killer albums after is like icing on the cake. But like this almost captures them on like huge, like they were already pretty damn big, but almost like cult following status. Where like Sound System and From Chaos were, they were radio play all day, right? I think Transistor got some, but it was, I don't know, maybe in the top 40, definitely not in the top 10, I wouldn't think. And then From Chaos comes up in Sound System, and it's like, even the artwork and the promotion's very in your face. So this, I think, captured 311, and it's maybe their last organic, we're a hippie rock band from Omaha, to like, oh, we're this California band. Not really, but kind of,
Tuan, to answer your question about how much do they play of the old stuff, their Mardi Gras 2020 live album, Beautiful Disaster, All Mixed Up, Silver, Come Original, Don't Stay Home, Do You Right, Purpose. So yeah, they play a lot of old stuff.
Is that an extended list, or is that a typical one? Or
this is a show from early last year. So,
oh wow,
I don't know. I mean, Sick Tight is from Chaos, Down, obviously.
Yep.
Creatures, some stuff a little after too, and there are some songs in here that I'm not as aware of. So those are probably more recent, but
that's a solid list, though.
Yeah, no, they still slay. They still slay live. Like last time they came to San Diego. Maybe they came after, actually, but the last time I went to pay to see them was at the House of Blues, which is a tiny venue for them. I think the cap, I want to say, is 1,200, maybe 1,400. And Zebrahead was opening. I was like, this is perfect. It's like a $40 ticket. I'm in. And the rest of the tour was like amphitheater. So I think it was a special engagement, but nonetheless, like they were fucking great, man. They were still tight. It was a fantastic show. And like you said, a lot of deep cuts, a lot of legacy songs, and sprinkled in some like newer songs. I think they almost know like, their earlier stuff is what hits for the fans and they appreciate more, and the new stuff is good, but they definitely knew they were on a pretty strong stretch for a long time, so they lean heavy on that set list for sure.
Good pick.
All right, Nate, what do you got?
Oh man, I'm stoked to talk about this one, because this one is maybe not my favorite, but I would say in my top 3, which is bold. The Roots, Come Alive, dropped in 1999.
Ooh, good one.
Oh, wow.
And is such an epic live album. Like, introduced me to the band. I think I got it in 2000, so I didn't get it when it dropped, but totally, embraced what they were doing from there on going forward. The album was recorded in Zurich, Switzerland, and New York City. So I got friends in Switzerland, so shout out to Fabio. And just like this, it just captures everything they do live. Like, they're such a unique hip hop band. They actually play their instruments. Black Thought's fantastic. And they had kind of a rotating, lineup for a long time. But there's a vibe on this live album that like you play it through and talk about like unplug, like whether you're driving, or I used to work at this jazz cafe in Lower East Side of New York City, and me and the bartender were huge Roots fans. So we used to play this when we were all like closing down bar and like cleaning up and stuff, and just like make it a party basically, and take shots of gin and stuff. Cool memories there. But yeah, it's just everything about this has positive connotation for me, and it's just like it's such a cool like, man, there's something like this that actually exists, like this jazzy hip hop, feel good, super nerdy music, intricate, like these people are masters at their craft type album and band. So I listened to it again today for the first time in, I want to say, 10 years. It's been a long time, but I have it on CD. And when I lived in New York City, I caught them every chance to kind of relive this live album experience, like leading up to finally seeing them, and then seeing them in New York City, and kind of almost emulating that translate from the album to live experience, and got to meet them and stuff. And Yeah, I've been a huge fan ever since, and I'm almost bummed that they're the backing band for Jimmy Fallon because they don't tour as much now because of that.
Yep.
But yeah, tight, and this album like proves it, like everything about it. They got Jill Scott on here, kind of doing a special appearance. Common, Ice Raw, Jaguar, Rozelle was in the band at the time. I don't know if you guys heard this record.
Rozelle. That's funny you say Rozelle. Remember the beat and the lyrics at the same time. Remember
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, he had
yeah,
the All I Know song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was talented as hell.
yeah.
I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts right now, Nate. I hadn't even thought of this. I was going to ask you guys when we get done, not just a question that plagued me when I was looking through this. Is there a good live hip hop album? I was going to say no, but Nate, there is one. It's this one. This
It's the
one's
only
fucking
one.
awesome.
I've never heard
You've
it.
never heard it, Twan?
No.
Oh man. Oh,
Twan.
this is a great one, and you're right. Jill Scott. I love the Jill Scott on "You Got Me." That's the Erykah Badu part from the
It's one of my
studio
favorite
version.
songs.
It's such
Yep.
a great song, and that version of it is such an awesome. Like it crescendos. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh my
This is
god.
why live albums are rule. Is you get that stuff.
Yep.
You don't get them the regular record. And there's a good. I want to say what's it called? The end of the record has a couple of bonus songs.
Yep. Exactly.
Shit, what's the name of that one? Is it The Lesson?
There's What You Want.
Yes, that song
Yeah.
is awesome.
Dope.
Yeah.
Fucking dope. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just neither here nor there. But the Roots, not Jimmy Fallon's band. If we have younger listeners, they're not just Jimmy Fallon's band. They're an awesome hip hop collective that plays instruments. Questlove is just badass. Black Dot badass. Check them out.
So this is coming from someone who obviously I love the Roots, but I've never heard this live album. I assume their MC level and lyricism flows through in this. Like, you know, and like you see a lot of rap shows where like, I don't know, they get too wrapped up in like the other guys, where the other guys will just finish the last word of the sentence. You can't even hear anything, and there's just too many people on stage. Like, I feel like they're true musicians, they're true lyricists, where they can carry this. Like you guys have seen that Black Thought 9-minute freestyle on one of the radio shows. Like the dude is on another planet.
Yeah.
It translates well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And that 9-minute solo, I've seen that same exact thing on many. I think I have it in one of my old iPhones, like recorded from when I've seen him. Like he's done that live 9-minute freestyle somewhere. I have that buried somewhere.
I just picture Nate has like a drawer somewhere in his house with like 7 iPhones in it, and he's like, which one of these has that Black Thought freestyle on it?
Yeah, it's basically like the nerdery bins with the posters, but digital format stuff. That's what I was saying. Like that photos of the Dave Grohl, and stuff. I have a ton of stuff with other people. I just don't have it on me. But yeah, no, great point, Twan, because, and I think you mentioned it earlier, to like rap live, like unfortunately isn't always that good. And I think it's because of what you're saying, Twan. Like they don't half-ass it, but it's almost like they're kind of handing it off. I've seen old videos of like Eminem with like Proof, and like he says the last word and it's like supposed to look good, but it actually kind of degrades the song a little bit. It doesn't really work because there's no flow. It sounds like they're just kind of huffing lyrics, like they're not actually like in cadence with the music in the background.
Exactly.
But this is the exact opposite of that. Like they're literally tight. Black Thought's an extremely well written lyricist, and the band is like be the backing band for anyone really. It doesn't have to be hip hop.
Yeah.
Speaking of Black Thought, like he's a tight drummer.
Questlove.
Sorry, yeah. So yeah, this is like the antithesis of that, and yeah, now that you say it, Tone, like I don't think there's any other live hip hop album that's even half decent, but this
Not on
one's
this
like
level. Yeah.
this is like A+, 5-star. Twan, like definitely put this on, but play it through and take some time and just this is a good unplug. Listen to this loud and have a few beers, because it's like it feels like a concert. It feels like you're there, and it's a vibe. It's awesome.
Without visuals, it feels like you're it's a concert. I would completely agree. I will disagree with you as far as maybe not records, but live shows. Underground hip hop kills it.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
They know how to, it's a different world. Your mainstream big acts, yeah, it's all about the stage show. It's all about passing it off, having special guests, getting people out on stage, getting people involved. I get that. That's part of what goes on with these bigger bands. But the underground crew, the underground rap, I've been to a million of those. Those are fun, and those get done well. Now, do they translate to a live CD? Probably not.
The irony is like they're typically the most skilled, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
One comment about the CD cover of this, Nate, is like it's just perfect. It like it captures the essence of the Roots, where it's like there's not a band member or not a group member in sight. It's you know, the name and the album's in the corner, but it's just a microphone looking out into what looks like the Hammerstein Ballroom or something. You know what I mean? It looks like it's looking out into a venue. And actually, is it Hammerstein? It's in New York. It was recorded in New York and Switzerland.
It may be, yeah.
I'm not sure, but that looks like it just from that photo.
Well, I'm glad you answered my question of is there a hip hop record that does have a lot, or a hip hop group that does have a live record that is worth putting on? This is definitely that one. And I don't know how it was my blind spot. I fucking love this record. I've listened to it a million times.
I didn't know this existed.
Nice.
Didn't know it. So add this one to the
you're,
playlist.
You're we're making you eat a little crow here, man. There's some good live records out there.
Well, haven't listened yet. I might hate it. No, I'm sure I'll love it. Like these guys, on every group member is on another level.
Yeah, no, they're tight, and this album just captures it perfect. I mean, recorded in '99, so I mean they've been a band for a long time. They're still going, so I feel like they were probably in a high on '99. Like they're still pretty big, but they weren't. You know, they definitely weren't doing a late show or anything.
When did Phrenology drop? After this, right? 01?
Definitely after this. Yeah.
01. I think 01, 02. And then Tipping Point is awesome after that. So there's some, I mean, they continued to put out great records.
So this would have been what, Things Fall Apart era?
Yeah, right around then. Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. I think they were at their commercial peak for Phrenology, which has there ever been? They're probably the biggest hip hop group that never really had a smash single.
The Seed was probably their biggest hit, right?
It was.
Seed 2.0.
Yeah.
I was gonna say The Seed for sure. Yeah. Other than that, they were Roots. You know, everyone knew them for what they were, but they were never a headlining band. But you know, for festivals, when I saw them, I'm like, if we'd missed this, we'd be morons to miss this. And I kind of take back like the fact that they didn't play a whole live that much when they were on Fallon, because when I lived in New York City, they played all the time. But you know, they were in the city, so. And the great part is I would work my shift at that cafe I was telling you about on Lower East Side in Greenwich Village, and finish my shift, at the restaurant at like 10 or 11. And they would play like late night shows that started at like 12:30 at night, went until like 2 or 3 in the morning. So
New York, baby. City that never
it was
sleeps.
great, man.